climate activists around the world are taking to the streets in the fourth global climate strike today. They're demanding that governments step up their efforts to further cut carbon emissions. Now, demonstrators in Australia kicking off the day of protests planned in cities around the world. In Sydney, hundreds skipping school for a rally outside the City Hall in a march. They were joined by victims of the bushfires that have been ravaging parts of Australia.
We're here today because Australia is facing devastating fires. We're here to demand climate action. We're also here to raise money for bushfire relief because so many people have been affected by these fires. People have lost their homes, people have lost their lives. We have to ask, how far does this have to go before our government finally takes action?
I lost everything in a tremendous bushfire that was unlike anything. I've been through lots of bushfires. This was unlike anything I've ever been through. It was an inferno, an absolute firestorm that raced through my property at 130 k's an hour, I was told later. And it's so unnatural that I started investigating and reading the science and really exploring what's happening with climate change.
Okay, the global climate strike now underway in Australia, kicking off here in Germany in a few hours' time. Let's talk about that now with climate activist Clara Meyer from the Fridays for Future movement in Germany. Good morning to you, Clara.
Good morning.
Nice to see you again, nice and early. The German parliament today is set to take up a climate package. It's been worked on for a long time now, but the Greens say they want to see it toughened up. They want more provisions before they back it. What's wrong with the package as it stands?
The problem is that it doesn't actually target or tackle the problem of the climate crisis. We need a much higher CO2 tax. What is in that climate package is basically like, it doesn't help us at all. There are many aspects of it that will not help us with this issue at all, and we see this climate package as basically like just an embarrassment of the Grand Coalition. Okay,
today is not only Fridays for Future, Green Friday, it's also Black Friday. Shoppers across Germany are going to be packing the stores today. Your group has come out against Black Friday. Why?
We believe that instead of going shopping today and spending a lot of money on a lot of goods, you could actually join our protests and have fun on the streets fighting for our future.
Okay, now in Paris, protesters are blocking access to the Amazon warehouse today. Here in Germany, are we expecting anything like that?
We're expecting a really great strike, especially in Berlin, and a lot of people showing solidarity on the streets with the youth.
Okay, now it's not only opposition to shopping extravaganzas like Black Friday. The Fridays for Future movement has also come out against cheap air travel, big cars. Are you concerned that you could face a popular backlash at some point?
Well, our goal is to actually change policies. So we don't only want to make flying more expensive, we want to cheapen train travels. So actually, we want to just take the method of movement that we have now and shift it to something else that is maybe even more convenient for people. Mm-hmm. So we hope that people will support us and then travel with the train through incentives by the Grand Coalition, let's say.
Okay, so to present some options that you think that people will like and so that they support Fridays for Future.
We believe that there are options there and we are not using them. And politics is not supporting the usage of those alternative methods of transportation. And we really have to change that.
Okay, now the Global Climate Conference starts in Madrid next week. Ahead of that summit, the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres spoke to DW. Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
The present situation is unsustainable. We are losing the race. Emissions are growing. There are two reports that were recently published with the emissions are not being reduced. We have the highest concentrations of CO2 in the atmosphere. Only millions ago we had the same situation, but at the time with the higher temperatures and a much higher level of the sea. We have seen in today's emission gap report of UNEP that we are at serious risk to not to be able to meet the limit of 1.5 degrees at the end of the century, and that would be catastrophic. So it's time to understand that we need to be much more serious with political will to be able to defeat climate change.
And Clara, Guterres talking there about a catastrophic risk. Do you think that the Fridays for Future movement has the momentum to address the problems that Guterres is pointing to?
I believe that if enough people actually will join us, then yes. I believe that we have to come together as a united and stronger force to actually change policies, to actually address politics. And that's what we're doing today. That's what we've been doing for the last year, and the fight will continue.
Okay. Have you noticed a broadening of your ability to connect with people compared to, say, the last time we talked? What was that, a few months ago?
Yes, I believe the last time we talked, that was before the last global strike. And at that day, nearly 1.5 million people turned out in Germany to fight against the climate crisis, to show the government that they were not okay with what was happening in this country and in this world. And we just see that we're getting stronger, we're getting more powerful, that people continue to support us, and that politics will have to listen to us at some point.
Okay, Clara Maya in for us today. Thanks very much for coming in this morning, Clara.
Thank you very much.